Om. Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvanavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamarshravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anishranvananoti Visida Sadhanam. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram. Namami Bhagavat Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om. Today is our first day with this webinar, right? And you can see there is a little bit of nervousness. In my prayer I went slightly here, but that's Bhagwan's way of alerting us, right? So I'm sure you all want to know how we are going to go about this webinar on the Vishnu Sahasranama, the 1000 transcendental names of the Lord. This is how Gurudev describes this text, where we are going to delve into the 1000 names, the Sahasranama of Bhagwan Vishnu. And there is this simplicity, there is this grace when we are able to take the name of the Lord, and we'll see how the effects of this percolate into our lives, percolate into our days, our day-to-day activities once we get started with it. So, when we say taking the nama, taking the name, what does it entail? It entails being aligned to that Lord, to the one who is the substratum of this entire universe. And what better way than to be able to visualize that Lord as that transcendental, or with very very many manifestations that are here available for us to visualize. Now, one might think, first, how do you go about these 1000 names, right? And many times what happens is it gets too overwhelming, because the names are in Sanskrit, and one might say that how will I, one who doesn't know Sanskrit, how will I be able to chant these, right? And here I would like to say, to begin with, that we are not going to chant to a great perfection to begin with. Here the whole attempt in having this webinar is to get ourselves started. To get ourselves started where we might not, some of us might not know Sanskrit at all. So this webinar is for those of us who might not have a clue as to how to go about the chanting even, right? And slowly move towards that. Okay, so we are not really going to chant like MS Subbalakshmi immediately to begin with. This is what I would really like to tell for those of us who have joined this webinar thinking that we will immediately hit that. So we are going to go about simply chanting the name of the Lord so that it grows on us, so that somewhere we will go to you. One thing I was finding out one of the anecdotes that came along from someone who comes from the very same family of MS Subbalakshmi ji. She took 6 months to understand the intonations, to understand the pronunciation, the right tone, etc., to chant the Vishnu Sahasranama, for her to get started into the way she was chanting, the way she chanted and recorded that Vishnu Sahasranama. And this comes from a person who is so well trained in Carnatic music, who has been hearing the name of the Lord since her childhood, right? So why am I saying this? I am saying this that let's not think that we are complete novices and we'll not get anywhere. But to get to that level of perfection requires a lot of effort. So the very fact that we have made the attempt to enroll for this webinar and have even showed up for the first session, I think we should give ourselves a pat on the back, right? And start with this. So before we get started, I know that many of you have joined in. I might not be able to familiarize myself with all of you, but in the progress of these sessions, slowly and surely, I will definitely come to know your names, and we will try to attempt so that each one of you in some of the sessions do get a chance to chant. Okay. Also at the same time, those of you who do not want to chant immediately to begin with, would like to take your own time, right, and just watch or listen, then please go ahead and do that. Don't feel obligated to, if I'm asking, please do raise your hands or let me know beforehand in the chat that, chat as in the WhatsApp group. I'm sure all of you have joined the WhatsApp group, right? Most of you have, right? All of you have joined the WhatsApp group, right? Which was created by our SIF Home Study Courses team. I'm thankful for them to have, created this group and facilitated everything. And we will continue our sessions. Thrice a week is going to be the frequency of the sessions. Although this week we'll do it twice a week. That's Tuesday, today, and Thursday. I will be traveling at the end of this week, so I won't be there. I'm just, letting you know or getting you in on how we'll be going about these sessions. So one is what we are going to do today is get an introduction to this text, the Vishnu Sahasranama, how it originated, where is it, who is the one who actually wrote it, because there are so many names and so many other commentators who have made various commentaries on it. So just a brief introduction is what we will see today. We will also start with one dhyanam verse from it, right? One dhyanam verse, which we will remember very clearly. Okay. So the book that I am referring to is this book, which is Gurudev Swami Chinmayananji's commentary on the Vishnu Sahasranama. In case you do want to get it, please, and you can get it, do get the book. It's a beautiful commentary and Gurudev has given even word meanings. And his commentary is based also on the commentary of Adi Shankaracharya ji. So that is how it is. If you do not have this book, or if you are able to, if you are able to otherwise, get a Gita press book of the Vishnu Sahasranama, even that is sufficient. Okay. So, normally people get one small book. Normally, if you go for any kind of Vishnu Sahasranama chanting, you will see there is a Gita press small book, handy book that they come out with. So, even that book is sufficient for us to chant. Those who had come earlier for my Bhagavad Gita chanting webinar, I used to share this PDF with the verse in Sanskrit, with its transliteration in English, in Roman, and its word meaning by Gurudev. So I am trying to compile a similar one, but it will take some time. Meanwhile, today what we have done is an initial PDF is what I have shared with the one dhyanam verse plus with the invocation mantra Shantakaram Bhujagashanam and some 4 verses. Okay, but the meaning which is given therein is not Gurudev's free flowing translation. That is just another one which I got on the net from a Chinmaya Mission site. But as I said, I will come up with a PDF and I will share with you as we go along. Okay. So this is something that I wanted to let you know. Now, how will we be going about the chanting? The chanting we'll do in such a way to begin with, as I said, till you all get comfortable. I will not push you all to start chanting. Those students whom I am familiar with here, I will ask them, maybe to come prepared with 1 or 2 verses. I will chant, right, like how I was chanting now the starting prayers that we had. So what were the starting prayers that we started with? We started with 3 times Om. This is what we will normally start with. I won't be saying 4 or 5 prayers, okay? Today, because it was the first session, therefore I included a Ganesh mantra, right? And we also had one invocation for Adi Shankaracharya ji, and also the Gurudev, one mantra which was invoking Gurudev Swami Chinmayanand ji, right? But besides this, what we will be chanting daily is this Shantakaram Bhujagashanam. If we are changing something, I will let you all know. So where will we, in the chat, someone has asked, where will we get the PDF? So this PDF will be uploaded on your dashboard. If you have logged in from the website, right? So I have shared this PDF, the initial PDF which we have made. I have shared it with our team, and they will upload it on the dashboard which you have. Is that okay? So when you go on your dashboard and when you click on Vishnu Sahasranama Webinar, you will see that there is a PDF with that. Now, if you do miss out on any of the sessions or any of the live sessions, how will you catch up? Again, on your dashboard itself, the recording will be uploaded after the session is done. Okay, but you will have to be patient. It will not happen immediately. It will happen in the course of that day, right? And you can watch that recording. Okay, so it is absolutely fine if you're not able to make it for the live session, but I would suggest that don't always go for the recording alone. Do attend the session so that I am able to, one, know who you are. 2 is that you will, if you do want to check your own chanting, whether you're going right or wrong, that can happen only during the live session. Otherwise, it's just like watching a YouTube, right? So we are here, and these sessions are, supposed to be live, and they will benefit you if you are able to come on live, right? Also, when you are chanting, I would suggest that please do keep your video open. Please do keep your video on. I will also be able to see you, and you will also be able to see me in that way. Okay. Yes. So I will usually, okay, no problem. Those who have some problems, you all will have to sort it out yourself. Okay. I'm fine with, I'm just giving you the initial roundup of things. Now, coming back to our topic of Vishnu Sahasranama, this beautiful ancient text, we have, as we know, there is 18 Puranas and there are 18 Upapuranas. Upapuranas, those are which are the branches of this, okay, which are the subsections of this, right? And in order to break, some of these will be completely in prose. When we have the Puranas, right? So if we look at our texts, and this is to give an introduction to the Vishnu Sahasranama, so that we are familiar with the terms, so that we are familiar how these texts have come about. So when we say that we have the Prasthanatrayi, right? Prasthanatrayi, we have the Upanishads, we have the Bhagavad Gita, and we have the Brahma Sutra. So these three texts. So where do these Upanishads belong? The Upanishads belong to the Vedas, right? Upanishads belong to the Vedanta. The essence of the Vedas is conveyed through the Upanishads. Now, here, these Upanishads are Sankshipta. They are very short. The mantras which are there, they are the revelations made to the rishis. They are not their own opinions. They are apaurushaya. They have been revealed to those pure-minded rishis. And these, when we say Vedas, the texts are said to be Shrutis. Shrutis, those that have been heard. Okay. So that term Shruti refers to the Vedas. And Vedas, in the Vedas you have the Upanishads. So the Upanishads originate from the Shruti. Then we have the Smritis. Smritis, those which have been, heard and remembered. Okay. So there is where, we have the Puranas that come in. Which involves, so if you would ask, what is a Purana now? Can you give an example? So if we look at the Mahabharata, or if we look at the Ramayana, these are the Itihasa Puranas. These are those which are based on history, those that actually happened, and therefore they are Itihasa, thus they happened, right? So they are not just mythology as we normally in normal nomenclature they are mentioned. Itihasa is that which has actually happened. It is history. It's part of history, and this history has been recorded by whom? By Veda Vyasji. Okay, he's that super brain avatar of the Lord who has done such a visionary work, so that those of us who are now in this Kali Yuga are able to access those texts which were revelations. And what did he do? Those Upanishads had mantras which were only, in coded form, in just capsules. So in the Puranas, in the Smritis, what did he do? He expanded on those. He expanded on those, such as the Bhagavad Purana. So why did he expand on those? So that we understand in our contextual language, right? In and through stories, we can understand through examples, through expansion of those mantras, what exactly is being revealed in those Upanishads. Okay, so that is the Smriti, that is the Puranas, and then you have the Shruti, Smriti, Purana. So Purana is there, and then you have so in the Smriti is where you have the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, and the Puranas are Puranas by themselves. But basically what we are saying is that those revelations which came in the Upanishads, they were expanded, right? They're into instructional form in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a Smriti. Okay, Smriti, that which was remembered and then penned it down. Now who did that again? Again Ved Vyasji did. And then next came the Puranas. So you have Shruti, Smriti, Purana. Okay. Now in order to understand these works of Ved Vyasji, who had penned it down, be it in prose, be it in poetry. Now you needed some more expansion on it. So who did that? We had Adi Shankaracharya ji, who wrote commentary on these texts. So that commentary is said to be Bhashya commentary. So this commentary, what is it doing? It is helping us understand that coded, scripted verses which were revealed in the mantras of the Upanishad, in the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, so that it becomes much more simpler for us to understand, right? And of course there were others also who wrote commentaries, right? And we had such great Mahatmas such as Swami Chinmaya ji, who made it much more simpler for us to understand in a language we can understand. So those of us who can't grasp Sanskrit immediately, what will we do? We can fall back on the commentary of such Mahatmas as Gurudev, which we'll see how it is evident in this Vishnu Sahasranama that we are looking at. So now, when we are seeing this Vishnu Sahasranama, again we said what? He is Bhagwan, right? When we take the name or when we give different names to people, right? Apart from their name, what are we doing? What we are doing is we are appreciating, we are praising them, right? We are kind of eulogizing them. So when it comes to praising people, what do? When we give them some kind of accolades, etc., there's a bit of exaggeration in that. But when it comes to the name of the Lord, no matter how much we try to praise, it falls short, right? In praising people, we might just go a little bit, we might go as per the emotions involved. But we might also, kind of exaggerate, as we said. But when it comes to the name of the Lord, there is not even one word which, can describe Him or His glory as much as we would want to. So here, in this 1,000 names, of course, there is certain, like Gurudev mentions in his commentary, there is a little bit of repetition also. And he even tells how much, like here he says that exactly 90 names have been repeated in this great hymn, right? And of them, he says there are 74 have been repeated twice, 14 are repeated thrice, and 2 of them are found to have been repeated 4 times. So Gurudev has done that study for us and he has told us a few statistics. But he says that, some of them, where we say Vishnu, Vishnu or Shiva, Shiva and so on. These are so that, effectively they come or they get ingrained into our minds. Now, if we see Bhagwan, he's normally the picture of Vishnu Bhagwan. How is it given? His Saguna Sakara Roop is being depicted, with 4 hands, with a crown, with the Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma that he is holding. Now these are able to, why do we need to have this form? So that our minds are transported to that level where we can see, visualize. Because right now, how are we? Right now, we are identified so much with our body that whenever, we are thinking of someone, the name comes and the form follows, right? If we are thinking of any object even, so the moment I say phone, right? Immediately what happens? The name is said and the form will follow, right? If I say elephant, so the moment the name elephant comes, the form of the elephant will also follow in our minds. We don't have to have that right in front of us. So such is this name and form thing, right? Because any object we take, any person we take, you will see this. It is as though the nama is the master, the name is the master, and the form or that swarupa is the servant or the follower. So wherever you take the name, the form will follow. It will not always be the other way around, okay? You will not think of the form and immediately think of the name, because that's how we are programmed, right? So here too, the names, the 1,000 names that are given to us, they are in order for us to visualize that Lord, where in our heart cave, right? Normally, where will the form be? When we talk form as in, you understand, right? Form as in this body, right? So now, if I am thinking of an object, right? The form of that object will be with that object, right? If I'm speaking of spectacles, right? The form of that object will be with that object. The name of that object will be where? In the knower's mind and speech, right? So, to connect, what do I have to have? I am the one who is the knower, right? I am the one who is learning right now. So, who is it? I am the one who is the knower of that. So, the name I have to keep in my mind, and only when I have it in my mind will it come to my speech, right? And then when I call out, or when I remember, or when I recall, immediately what happens is I see that person, or I see that form in front of me. That form need not be physically present. What am I doing? I am just, whatever was cognized earlier, I am recognizing it, right? This is a connection I just wanted to bring about for you, that how are we going about this, when we chant, what should happen? Gradually, the attributes that come with that name, gradually that form which comes with the name should follow to us, and that's how, in earlier times, in ancient days, what would families do? Families will name the child with the name of the Lord. So that the moment you are saying Narayana, right, what will come? Or the moment you say Vishnu, what form should come? The form of the Lord should come. Of course, now we can't really say the same, but yes, that is the whole idea. And if we see in this Vishnu Sahasranama, there are 1,000 names, right? Maybe here and there some are repeated as Gurudev mentioned, but the beauty of it is that these names which are there, they are not just from Mahabharata, they are also from the Purana. Mahabharata is a Purana, but they are also from the Bhagavad Gita, they are also from the Upanishads. So these names have been culled out from everywhere and put together into this text. By whom? By Vedvyasji. By Vedvyasji, who is the beautiful poet who has that beautiful mind, that Vyasa Buddhi, Vyasa Vishala Buddhi we call him, right? So he has put this together in a very beautiful poetic form. But the actual dialogue, you might say that, oh, but didn't he just record the history? Yes, he did record the history. But who was the one who was speaking, right? So there is Vaishampayana and there is Janmejaya. Who are these? So why I am saying this is that if you go through the text, these names will come up, okay? So who is Vaishampayana? Vaishampayana is the disciple of Vedvyas ji. And Janmejaya is the son of grandson of Arjuna. Now, when he was asking questions to Janmejaya is when this text or when this conversation was recorded, which was the original conversation which occurred in the Mahabharata. So, the conversation was between Bhishma Pitamaha and Yudhishtira. Okay. So, when did this happen? So, here in the Mahabharata, of course, the first most important dialogue that we hear of is that of Arjuna and Krishna, where Arjun's mind was muddled with a lot of doubts and he didn't know whether he wanted to go to war or no. And that's when Bhagwan Krishna in the Kurukshetra battle explained to him the essence of life and gave the sandesh of Ma Shucha, never grieve, keep smiling, right? So that is recorded as the Bhagavad Gita, which is giving the Brahma Vidya or the Adhyatma Shastra, which is giving the knowledge or the essential knowledge of the Vedas, which is the Upanishads, is being given in instruction form by Bhagavan Krishna in answer to Arjuna's questions, right? So that is one part. But now, where did this come about? Where did this Vishnu Sahasranama come about? So this Vishnu Sahasranama is the dialogue which came about between Bhishma Pitamaha, as we said, who is the grandfather of the Pandavas and Kauravas. And this was after the battle was done. After the battle was over, after Kurukshetra was done, and there were a lot of deaths that had to be taken care of, lot of Shraddha Karma, etc. had to be done. And now Yudhishtira, who is himself said to be Dharmaraja, a follower of or an abider of Dharma, he was completely deluded and he was in a state where he needed a lot of clarification as to why all this, how do I come to terms of it, and am I responsible for all this? Basically, when something happens, we always feel that was I to blame for all this that transpired, right? And here he wanted those answers and he approached Lord Krishna. Of course, he went through the channel of his brother Arjuna, and Lord Krishna, he then told him or advised him that he should go to Bhishma Pitamaha. In one of the things in the Mahabharata is that it is quite vast. It has 1 lakh plus verses, right? And there are many characters, and they say that if you don't find, if you are looking for a situation in the world, it has already occurred in the Mahabharata. It has already been recorded in the Mahabharata. So what is not in the Mahabharata is not there in the world, right? So such is that beautiful poetry which was again recorded by Vedvyas ji. Now here in the Mahabharata, when there are so many characters, each of them had their flavor, right? And you might think that everyone knew that Krishna was actually an avatar of Bhagwan Vishnu, right? But there were many characters who were not ready to even believe that and would also try to ridicule, right? But among those wise who took Lord Krishna to be that Lord, that transcendental truth, were those such as Bhishma Pitamaha, such as Dronacharya. They were great devotees of Bhagwan. And so too Yudhishtira. So Bhishma, now we have to remember, he was said to be the grandsire in this Kuru clan. And because of the vow that he had taken, he had stuck to being the support of the throne that was in Hastinapur. Now, one might think, why did he, many people ask, why did he side with the Kauravas? But that he had to do because he was residing with them. This is what he would say. When Draupadi asked that, you are such a dharma abider, you are such a person who is always seems to talk of dharma, what is right, what is wrong, what is righteous, where should our fortitude be. But then why did you, when it came to supporting the Kauravas, why did you stick to it? So he said that, my food, my salt came from that home. So I couldn't have digressed otherwise. And as per the vow that I had taken, I have to support that throne. And I stuck to my duty. Now, other part of his vow was that, as part of the vow, what was bestowed on him, the boon that was bestowed on him, was that he could choose the time of his death. And as the war was ending and he was shot down, right? He was put on a bed of arrows by Arjuna. He decided that his time of death would be the Uttarayana time, that is the northern solstice. When the sun, when after the winters have gone, the sun, when it is towards the north, towards the highest, there is when would be the most opportune time, it is said. Even now it is celebrated as Makar Sankranti and Pongal, and so many other festivities happen around that time, celebrating the brightness or the bright solstice, as it says. So during this Uttarayana, at the peak of that Uttarayana, when at the dawn of that Uttarayana is when he chose to have his death. Or rather, of course, that is something which is more factual. But if you go with the bhava of him, he was a great devotee of the Lord, and he wanted to have that darshan of Bhagwan at his end time, and therefore it is said that he chose that very time. So now, when he was laying in that bed of arrows, right? This is the Shanti Parva, right? So that's when Bhagwan Krishna told Yudhishtira that you can go and ask whatever your doubts, your confusions, go ahead and speak to Bhishma Pitamaha and he will be able to answer your questions. Why? Because he has had the greatest experience throughout his tenure over there as your mentor. So why don't you ask him? He is the best person to clear all your questions regarding dharma. And that is what then Yudhishtira did. And many questions as to not just relating to the governance, but also in terms of other administrative things when it comes to a kingdom. Also when it comes to an individual doubt as to how to go about one's life in various confusions, how to tackle people, how to have the best kind of relationships with people. All these small doubts, or even how to take ahead your own personal journey, all those doubts were clarified by Bhishma Pitamaha in that conversation, in the dialogue which transpired, which comes in the Bhishma Parva, right? So now, at the end of it, Yudhishthira asked him a question as to how do I move towards that moksha? How do I what is the greatest way, what is the best way to invoke that Lord. And that's when the conversation went towards the Vishnu Sahasranama. So here if we see, so he says that, the question as to, what is the greatest dharma? The greatest dharma is where we are able to abide in the Lord. So that Lord, that Vishnu, who is that Lord? He is that all-pervading, who has neither a beginning, there is no Adi, nor is there an Anta to him, nor is there an end to him, right? And that chanting of the name of the Lord, it could be the simplest of names, okay, such as Rama, right, or such as Vishnu itself. If we are able to just remember the name of the Lord, we will be able to break all bonds of the samsara and cross over, right? And there are many stories, even if we look in the Bhagavad Purana also, which speak of this, like that of Jadabharata, like that of Gajendra Moksha. So this text, the Vishnu Sahasranama, like Bhagavad Gita is more of Adhyatma Vidya, or the Sanada Sujatiya is more of Adhyatma Vidya. But when it comes to this Vishnu Sahasranama, once you have the knowledge, of course, Bhagavad Gita is done, you have the knowledge, but what is required in addition to transport me to that transcendental is the devotion. So knowledge plus devotion is what is going to take me to that final frontier, which I am waiting for. And in such a beautiful way. We don't have to, put in much effort also. What is required? It is only the chanting of the name of the Lord. I have to just be able to say it simply and in a very devoted manner. If I bring about that bhava, then that form of the, just as we said, what has to happen? If I take the name, the form will follow. So here too, this is how the Vishnu Sahasranam, why are through the 18 Puranas we said that various Sahasranams are interspersed, like there is the Vishnu Sahasranam, there is the Lalita Sahasranam, so many other Sahasranams are there. Why are these interspersed in that whole Puranas? Why? So that from time to time we are able to invoke the name of the Lord and not forget that what we are here for is not to study the entire Puranas or understand the logic of it or intellectualize it, but more we are grounded in that name which is our own substratum. We are but a manifestation of that same Bhagwan only. That which is that Vishwa, that which is that entire universe, we are just a drop of it, we might think. But we are that alone. Okay? So when we are taking the name of the Lord, one is to invoke that bhakti in us and seek the grace of that Lord, so that ultimately we become one with that Lord. So that is one thing, right? So if we see also the kind of grace that came upon Bhishma himself when this conversation happened. So he was, you can imagine, he's on his deathbed, on those bed of arrows, and all these kind of intellectual questions came from Yudhishtira, and he then sweetened it, devotion, he put in a lot of devotion when it came to the Vishnu Sahasranama. And he concluded that entire question answer round with the Vishnu Sahasranama. So here again, what is to be remembered? All this was happening on that battlefield, and Vedvyasji was recording it, right? So maybe the order of names might not have been the same or anything, but what has he done? Ved Vyasji has beautifully, poetically, in the right meter. What is the meter here? There is this Anushtup Chandaha. So mostly when we are chanting, like even in the Bhagavad Gita when we are chanting, there is certain meter which has come about. Meter, it is the tone in which we say, or it is also the order in which the words have been put. Okay, so we have to remember, maybe that dialogue which happened between Krishna and Arjuna was not so poetic, okay, but it was maybe a more of prose. But who put it the way it was so that we are able to remember it, so that we are able to chant it, is the rishis. Okay. So now if we look at this Vishnu Sahasranam, you might, one question which might come is that, is this mantras or is this shlokas? Okay. So these are, because this has this knowledge perspective as well as it is also devotional. It is something that is going to transport us towards the moksha sadhana. Okay. This particular text has the essential power to transport us to that moksha sadhana. And therefore, what does it become? That these verses which are there, they have the stature of being mantras. So now mantras are what? What is the difference between mantra and shloka? So mantras are those which are, as we said, they are the ones which come in the Shrutis, in the Upanishads. They were revelations to the rishis who were so pure-minded that they could just grasp them. So they are apaurusheya. It is not that, someone can put their name down to this mantra comes from this rishi. No. They are revelations to those rishis. Right? Whereas shlokas, what is then the difference in the shlokas? Shlokas are those which have been written by rishis, such as Ved Vyasji, right? Or such as the Bhagavad Gita. Those verses which are there in the Bhagavad Gita, they are shlokas. They are penned. Or say Vashishta Muni, or say Valmiki ji. All those are shlokas. Okay. So mantras, revelations. Shlokas, those that have been composed. Fine, that is the difference between the two. Now, also one more thing is that, what is the definition of a mantra? Mananat trayate anena iti mantraha. That which is contemplative in nature. That, which we do manana on. That which we reflect on, so that those words therefore then reveal to us that essential knowledge. Those are mantras. So what is that definition? Mananat trayati anena iti mantraha. Okay, fine. Then further, the greatness of this is that at the end of this Vishnu Sahasranam, again Bhishma Pitamaha, he was praising, and he was so moved. He was praising the Lord, and Krishna Bhagwan was right there, and he asked Bhagwan, Bhagwan, all this you could have done. You could have answered all these questions for Yudhishtira. So why did you give this to me? So Bhagwan said that for me there is no greater joy, happiness than to see my bhakta reveal all his knowledge. So I wanted you to do that. This particular bhava is said to be that of, Bhagwan always trying to not grasp attention. It is more of him giving that credit to his bhaktas, right? And one of the greatest bhakta there here is Bhishma Pitamaha. So here what we'll do now is, as we said, we have already paid our obeisance to these Mahan Rishis, Ved Vyasji, for bringing this Vishnu Sahasranam to us in such a beautiful manner. Then you also have such great commentators, foremost of whom is Adi Shankaracharya ji. Adi Shankaracharya ji, at his young age of not more than 12. Can you imagine, at a young age of not more than 12 is when he wrote this commentary on the Vishnu Sahasranama. It was his teacher, Govind Bhagavad Pada, who encouraged him and instructed him that you first write the commentary on the Vishnu Sahasranama and then only do you venture for doing the Prasthanatrayi. He had that ambition, Adi Shankaracharya ji, that now that my teacher has taught me this essential knowledge of the Upanishads, I should write a commentary on, I should write a bhashya on these, on the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita and the Brahma Sutra. But his teacher said, wait, be patient. First you write the commentary on the Vishnu Sahasranama. And that's when he did that. And his teacher, when Adi Shankaracharya ji, he showed that commentary to his teacher, he was so impressed that he said that, okay, here on you never need to ask for permission from me or anyone to write commentary on anything else. You can just go ahead and do that. Such was the beauty of that commentary, and that is what is one of the inputs we will take. Though, as we said, this session is not only because this is the introductory session today that I am telling you all these things. We will not go to such depth, okay, to understand each name. Whatever we can in the limited time that we have, we will do, okay, in the 1 hour session. As we said, we are also going to learn how to chant, and we are also going to understand a little bit of each name. We are just going to understand what that name means. So this will be based on the commentary of Gurudev, which is also based on Adi Shankaracharya ji's commentary. So now, bowing down to all our gurus, our teachers, we will do the first invocation mantra, with your permission, right? I will share right here the PDF screen so that, is it visible to all of you? I hope it's visible to all of you, right? I will try to make it, okay, fine. Yes, I just want to make it slightly bigger. Okay, fine. So we'll go with this. Okay. Now, before we start again, I would just like you all to raise your hands and tell me how many of you are familiar with the Devanagari script, the Sanskrit script. Raise your hands as in there is these emote icons, okay, which shows, yes, that will be better. Okay. Yeah. Okay, fine. That's good. Those who are not able to do it, right? And there is the English transliteration also. Fine. And I hope you all will be able to read that. If you are not able to, then just let me know. You can put it in the chat or something, right? I will, again, what I will do is that same doc that I have shared, I will also put it in the, I will ask our team to also put it in the WhatsApp group, fine? Just to start with, so that you all also just get familiar. And what we'll do then is, I will chant and I will try to chant it 3 times. First 2 times, then we'll see how it goes. You can indicate to me what is the pace with which you are able to grasp it, right? Again, I am telling, we are not aiming immediately for perfection. We are just aiming so that we are able to chant properly, okay? Yeah. So we will start with the invocation. Yes. Thank you. So, one second, I just wanted to, okay, fine. So here, this is the invocation mantra. If you have Gurudev's book, then this is there on page number 1, okay, which is said to be the meditation stanza, okay. Now you might ask, okay, one more thing I will say is that you might ask that there is a lot of other mantras, etc. We are not going to do all of those, right? We will not go into the initial question answer which is given over there. We will start with this Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam. We'll start from that, okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gaganasadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmikantam Kamalanayanam Yogibhirdhyanagamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaikkanatham. I will chant this shloka once more. So the first line is only to invoke that Lord of our hearts. He is not somewhere far away. This is one thing that we have to keep in mind. This Lord of this universe is very much in us, as much as He is in everyone else. So maybe through this webinar, when we are chanting, or daily when we take the name of the Lord, may we invoke His grace and blessings on us always, as much more when we are starting this, okay. So again I will chant the shloka. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham. Okay, again I will chant the first line. Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham. Shantakaram, that which is of the form of peace, which is the swarupa of peace. Shanta akaram. Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam, and who is as though lying down on the bed of serpents. Bhujaga Shayanam. Bhujaga, snakes. Shayanam, the bed. Padmanabham. Padma, lotus. Okay. Nabham, the navel. From his navel is this Padma, the lotus arising. Suresham. He is of that form of, of that pleasantness. The Sura Isham, Suresham. Suresham, Sura Isham. Sura, the gods, and Isha, the one who is the Lord of the gods. Okay. So if we see the Sanskrit words, simply if we are able to break them, we can understand the meaning of each also. So we are also going to learn a little bit of Sanskrit as we go along, right? Some of you all have raised your hands. I hope it's not with a query. You can now unraise your hands also, okay? Fine. Okay. Then next line is Vishwadharam. Vishwadharam. Vishwa Adharam, that which is the substratum of the entire universe. Vishwa, universe. Adharam, the support or the substratum. Gagana Sadrisham. Gagana, Gagana is the skies. Who's Sadrisham? It is a beautiful skies, right? Sadrisham. Meghavarnam. How is the texture or how is the look of the Lord? It is that which is more of a darker shade. Meghavarnam. Darker shade like what? Like the clouds. Like the dark clouds. This Vishnu Bhagwan has this blue tinge to him, right? And therefore he is said to be Shama also, Shama Varna. Megha Varnam, Varnam, that is color. Shubhangam, is all that his form is, all his swarupa is very auspicious. Shubhangam. So, first line is what? Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham. Second line is saying Vishwadharam, Vishwa Adharam becomes Vishwadharam. Okay, now in Sanskrit we have to understand that most words are combinations. How are they combinations? The joining is called the sandhi. So when we are trying to understand the meanings of them, what are we doing? We are going to split. I will answer everyone's, I know you all are raising hands. I will answer your questions at the end of this, okay? I will just finish this mantra, and then we will answer whatever questions, okay? Vishwadharam, Gagana Sadrusham, Meghavarnam, Shubhangam. That was the second line. Now third line is Lakshmi Kantam. Lakshmi Kantam. The one who is the spouse of who? Of Lakshmi Devi. Lakshmi Kantam. Kamala Nayanam. Kamala, again lotus. Nayanam, eyes. Okay. Kamala Nayanam. Yogibhir Dhyana Gamyam. The one who reveals himself to those yogis. The one who is the center of the dhyana of those yogis. The one who is the goal of the dhyana, of the contemplation, or the subject of the contemplation of the yogis. That is that Bhagavan. Lakshmi Kantam Kamala Nayanam Yogibhir Dhyana Gamyam Vande Vishnum. We bow down to that Lord Vishnu. Who is Vishnu? Bhagavan. Vishnu Bhagavan is that all-pervading master of all. Vande, salutations. Bhava Bhaya Haram. Who is this Lord Vishnu? This Lord Vishnu is the one who takes away the fear of this samsara. Bhava, this samsara, this world. Is this world a bed of roses? No, there are so many ups and downs, most of which are right here in my mind, right? So, every day may I start by invoking the name of the Lord who will take away all the fears that I have in my mind. Bhava Bhaya Haram. Haram, remover of, destroyer of the various bhayas, fears that I have of this world. Sarva Loka Ekanatham. Sarva Loka Ekanatham. So that Lord, that Vishnu Bhagavan, who is he? He is that one beholder, or that one supreme, who is the Natha, the leader of this entire, or the governor of all this entire universe. Okay, so whom are we offering our salutations to? We are offering our salutations to that Bhagavan. Okay, so once again I will chant this whole verse. Okay, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrusham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogibhir Dhyana Gamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaikanaatham. Okay, so we invoke the blessings of the entire Guru Parampara. May we go through this entire text with a peaceful mind, and may it bestow on us much more peace, and may we be able to see that Lord of our hearts in and through all that we do throughout our days. Okay, so then we will close for today. Thank you very much for coming for that initial session. We will close with prayers. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Hari Om. Thank you very much. Hari Om. Hari Om.